Fred, let's go to you. Tell us about your mission, the impact that you want to make in the world.
Thanks, Jake. At the age of 61, I stepped on the scale to find my weight at 350.2 pounds. I was, the first thought that came to me was, I'm as close to 400 pounds as I am 300. And that thought sickened and scared me. And I decided to put together a program using my coaching materials to get to a healthy and stay at a healthy weight. I call it Think and Grow Thin, which takes from Think and Grow Rich and a number of other books. I'm now down 128 pounds. I have not reached my mountaintop, but I'm getting close. And I did this starting at the age of 61. I've heard, as many of the people on this call have probably heard, that it's difficult to lose weight after the age of 50. And I'm living proof that that's just the status quo line that's BS. And so I am on a mission to help as many people as I possibly can to find a similar path to Think and Grow Thin. I think our country is in the midst of an obesity epidemic, and I think there's a lot of things we can do about it. And that's my mission. I'm hell-bent on this mission. I'm transitioning from a full-time job as a real estate appraiser to full-time speaking and coaching. And I'm looking for ways to get in front of as many people as I possibly can internationally. That's my mission. That's where I'm at. I'm a product of the product, which I think helps me a lot in terms of my credibility being in front of an audience. And I have the excitement, I have the enthusiasm, I got the chops, I'm ready to go. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Fred, well, congratulations. Everyone pop a congratulations in the comments for Mr. Fred Ford. What an inspiring story of someone who went out there and made a program for themselves and went out and is sharing it to the world. What was that, 100 and what? 128 pounds?
128 so far.
128 so far. What an amazing accomplishment that Fred has had. Congratulations to Fred.
I'm back in my teens.
What's that?
I went back to my teens. I'm in my teens for the first time since I was in college. I'm 218 pounds.
Wow, congratulations.
I was 350. So yeah, it's thank you all.
Well, Fred, I think that the amazing thing that Fred has had here. Now, for those who don't know, I've known Fred for a very long time, and I've watched his journey. I've seen his journey. I've seen what's been going on there. But the thing that's amazing is that the focus that he has had on his fitness journey, he's had the same focus on his business, his same focus on his mission, his same focus on what he is doing out there to go and help people. The thing that I have seen in Fred that is absolutely incredible is what he has put above everything else is this belief that he will. What Fred has is this belief that no matter what challenge I hit in the short term, I know I'm going to succeed long term. And so, yes, it might be frustrating if something's not working the way I want it to work right now. But it has nothing to do with the long term. There's this phrase where, well, maybe I lost this battle, but I know I'm going to win the war. And Fred has always had this attitude that he knows that he's going to be out there sharing this message, making a massive difference. Now, you already are making a massive difference. You're just looking at another level of it is where you want to be. You want to be at that level. But one thing that I've really loved seeing in Fred is that belief that he knows that he will. And that's the first principle that I want you all to have, is this idea that if you want to succeed in this business, I got to tell you, there is challenge. And anyone who says that there's not challenge is lying to you. There is challenge. There are hard days. I've been full-time in this business, making a living, sharing a positive message for 12 years now. And there are still hard days. There are still challenges. Because the moment you stop seeing challenges, you better be cautious. Because the moment you stop seeing challenges, what that is telling you is, oh my goodness, when did I decide to stop growing? When did I decide to stop growing? Because whenever you're trying to grow, whenever you're moving forward, we're going to hit opposition. And that opposition is not a bad thing. The goal in life is not to avoid opposition. The goal in life is to be the kind of person that can face any challenge that comes our way and then become better on the other side because of it. Life, we experience challenges. Think about the wonderful stories in the world. Think about the great stories in the world, your favorite movies, your favorite books. Weren't they just like this? At the beginning of the movie, the main character was doing great and everything was wonderful. Then, midway through the movie, they were doing great and everything was wonderful. And then you got to the climax of the movie and they were doing great and everything was wonderful. And then it ended and everything was wonderful and everything was great. No, that's not the movie. That would be a boring movie. Nobody's watching those movies. Nobody wants to see that because we know that that's not life. What inspires us in movies is when you take a hero, you take somebody, and they're just a regular person. In some way, they're just a regular, everyday person. And somehow they're plucked out of obscurity and they have some big, giant thing that they're going to do. Just like you in your life. You might be a regular person, but I remember just a couple weeks ago, I was watching a show. I was watching this really cool light and color show. It's at Disney California Adventure. It's called The World of Color, and it's this big, giant, cool show. And I'm holding my son. He's 7 years old. I'm holding him during the show. And right after the show, he said, "Dad, I learned something." I said, "Well, what did you learn?" And he said, "Even small people can make a big difference." And I went, "Oh, what a beautiful moment as a father, hearing him say that. What a great thing." But I think about it in the same way. Regular people can make a big, big difference. And that's what we learn in so many stories, whether it's Rocky or it's Frodo, whoever it is. We learn that from these stories that people who are quote unquote regular people are able to make a big difference. Just like you, whatever that mission is that you have. And then there's a time where you decide, I'm going to go forward. Even though I don't know everything on the path, I'm going to start moving forward. And what happens in these stories? We move forward and everything just goes great from there. No, that's not what happens. They hit challenge after challenge after challenge. And not only do they learn to overcome those challenges to get to where they want to be eventually, the challenges are what shape them to be prepared to get to the next challenge. So when you see a challenge that you're facing, instead of looking at this and saying, "Why me? Why is this happening? Why am I facing this challenge?" Say, "Thank you that I have another teacher in front of me that's going to prepare me for the next thing in front of me, the next thing that is coming." So no matter what, we're going to face challenges. And the goal is not to avoid those challenges. The goal is to be the kind of person who can face them with courage, can face them in a way that we can learn something, can face them in a way that we're going to be proud of the way that we faced it from the beginning. See, everyone can look back on a challenge in their life and they can say, "You know what? When I faced that challenge, even though it was hard, even though it was challenging, today I know that I'm in a better place because of it. And I'm grateful for that challenge." How many of you have had a time where you had a challenge where today you're so grateful that you went through that challenge? Right. Almost all of us have. Almost every single one of us have. We've had those times. But it takes true courage to be able to be in the challenge and to see this as something that is happening for us and not to us. And I'm not saying that you have to be perfect at that. I'm not saying that at all, because I am not perfect at that. But what I can tell you is that in the moments when we can look at things and say, "I know I can get through this. I know I can face whatever challenge is coming my way," we can go forward and we can move forward. I want to go back to Fred. Fred, what is it that has given you that strength to be able to say that no matter what challenge, we're talking about the business side of things, not just the health and fitness side, but from the business side of things, what is it that has given you the strength to know that no matter what challenge I face, you know that you're going to succeed long term? What has developed that inside of your mind?
Honestly, I think one of the things that's developed it is all my past failures. In reading Think and Grow Rich, which is one of the books that I drew from to create my material, he highlights a chapter. A whole chapter is titled Persistence. And I honestly believe that persistence is the one variable that we need to have. As a coach, as a life coach, I can tell you the number one reason why people don't reach their goals is they give up too soon, period. That is the number one reason. Paired to its essence, that means a lack of persistence. My favorite phrase about persistence is failure is the path of least persistence. Just kind of a play on,
Ooh,
not a cool phrase.
I like
And,
that. I like that
and
a lot.
and I just put in my mind, I am going to do this no matter what. I was on a podcast about a month ago, and the guy said, give us two bits of advice about how to think and grow thin. I said, there is only two things. One, get started. And two, once you get started, never stop. That's really, as far as I'm concerned, Jake, what has differentiated this journey from others. I have a great passion for it, obviously, that I have some great whys, but I put in my mind on day one, this is a present fact. This is not some future happening. This is an existent fact in my life that I'm going to live into, and I'm going to spread this message. I've finished a book. I've done a lot of things to move this forward, and I'm on the verge of some really big things. But I think from a business standpoint, it was the mindset that this is not a hobby. This is not something I'm going to do for the heck of it. This is something I'm going to pour my life's blood and energy into. And this is something I'm going to continue to do no matter what. And that's really, from my perspective, that's the business part of it that drives it.
Yes. Everyone, I want you to think about something that Fred said right there, something that pointed out to you, something that hit your mind that you want to remember, and write it down. For me, the thing I want to remember is that line that failure is the path of least persistence. What a beautiful thing. What an incredible line. Failure is the path of least persistence. Now, why am I starting with this when we're talking about the strategy of building businesses, of impact and income? I got to tell every single one of you, whatever it is that you want to do, you can absolutely do. And there are strategies to get there. And we're going to spend day 2, 3, 4, and 5 focused on the strategy of building up these businesses. Today, my primary focus is getting you into a state where you have the number one thing that you need to succeed in your business, and that is the attitude that Fred is talking about there. The attitude that you will succeed no matter what. Because when you have that belief, you can turn anything into your reality. Marlena, that idea of it not being a hobby, but being a mission. When we play coach or we play business, we play this hobby, we're not going to have professional results. And when someone makes a decision to turn this into a profession, and by the way, if someone wants to do this as like a little part-time, little thing I do on the side, little whatever, I personally don't actually know how to help you. I don't know how to do that. I'm an all-in kind of a guy. I'm not only a go into the deep end kind of a guy, I am a cannonball in the deep end kind of a guy. I'm an all-in kind of a person, and that's just how I am. I'm a burn the ships kind of a guy. And if you want to make a massive impact, a massive income, that's what this challenge is about. If this is something that is like, I kind of want to do this, I kind of want to, it's something that kind of matters, I guess. I just don't know. I don't know if this is something that you're going to be able to handle the challenges in front of you. Now, when I say the words part-time, I want to scratch those words, because what I'm talking about there is maybe it might be something that you're doing at a level where it's, I'm doing this thing and I'm going to have this amount of time. It's not about the amount of time. It's about how dedicated you are in the time that you have. And what I'm saying is, if it's a nice to have, you probably won't be able to handle whatever challenges come your way. But if it's a no matter what, I can tell you, you can push through it. You can push through it. You can make those things happen.